So I have set myself the goal of earning £50,000 in 1 year by self-publishing a book series. Can I do it? Can I make £50,000 in 1 year? Let's see. So what have I actually written? What is this book series that I've written? Well, it is a zombie apocalypse, urban kind of horror. I've written 4 books. It's going to be a lot longer, the series, but I've written the first 4 books. I'm going to publish all 4 books at the same time. So they're just straight onto the platform, and hopefully they will start to earn the money that I'm going to need for this 50 grand. Now, I'm not sure how many books there will be, but the first 4, like I say, are ready to go, and I'm going to be releasing them all at the same time. Writing a series has a greater chance of you, the author, selling more books and therefore earning more money, because in theory you've got a limited amount of books following the same character if you continue that series on and on and on, which means your readers are going to read the first book, they'll get to know the characters, they'll love the characters, hopefully anyway, and then they'll want to read more stories to see how this story progresses with those characters. So as the series grows, as you release more and more books, people who haven't seen the first 4 books might see, let's say your 5th, 6th, 7th book, might see that one come out and go, oh, I quite like that, but I'm going to have to go back to book 1 and read all those things. So every time you bring out another book in the series, it generates interest in that series, and people will go back, and your back catalogue will continue to grow in sales. So that's basically the reason that a series is a lot better for when you're publishing books rather than a standalone. It doesn't mean that standalone isn't going to make the money that you want, but a series is obviously going, if it's a successful series, it's going to continue to be a money earner for you. So I'm going to go into greater detail about the books in another video. Why didn't I just release the first book after I'd written it? Well, that was actually a conscious decision that I made. I don't go into a great deal of outlining when I'm outlining my books. I just write something kind of, it's more casual, it's more kind of flexible, really. I've got an idea of where the book's going. I've got certain plot points that I want to hit, but I don't, kind of write a detailed outline. I don't do that because I'm one of those people who just like want to get in and get the story done. So I knew there was potential. The reason I didn't do that because I knew there was a potential for book 1 having to be altered once I'd written book 2, and so on and so on. And that turned out to be true. Now, when I was adding information in subsequent books, which then had a knock-on effect for the earlier books. So I was having to go back and I was having to layer in relevant information so the previous books would make sense, considering I'd put like information into like, the further books. Now, I couldn't have done that if I'd already published the early books. I would have been stuck with what I had. Yeah, I could have like done another draft and like kind of reloaded and what have you, but there would have been some books out there that were different. So, but now I've got that kind of world set up. It's all built within these first 4 books. Going forward, I'm quite confident that I don't need to alter anything in the other books. So I'm publishing these 4 books straight away, and then I'm going to continue writing that series and then publish like, one at a time after, as soon as I've written them, basically. Just a brief kind of outline of like what the series is about. So the main goal of the characters is to get to a secure bunker in London when there's a zombie outbreak that occurs, and throughout the series there's all these misadventures and the characters get sidetracked. Now, the story is firstly set in my home city of Sunderland. That's in the northeast of England, if you don't know where that is, which is about 500-ish miles from London. So our characters they've got this near impossible journey, and they've got a time scale to get from the northeast of England to London. And they've got to do it before midnight on that first day, because then the bunker doors is going to be closed and they're going to be locked out in this kind of apocalypse. So they've got less than a day to get to this bunker in London. So the first 3 books take place on the the first day of the outbreak because they've got to get to the bunker at midnight. So the first 3 books is them trying to get to London. And then the end of book 3 kind of spills over into day 2. And that's the story for those first 3 books. Now, the 4th book is actually a prequel, and it covers the 5 years up to the events, and it goes right up to the events of the end of book 3. And book 4 is going to feature a brand new character in a completely different environment to the first 3 books, but it's related because that's the main character in the 4th book is going to be the sister of the main character in the previous 3 books, and she's kind of introduced in the first book on a telephone call, so we're aware of her, we know who she is. She's a virologist who works in a lab in Switzerland, and she warns her sister about the outbreak and getting to this bunker in London. Now, I'll go into the stories individually in further videos because I know this is getting a bit long, this video. So what I will say is, just before I leave, if you want to follow this journey that I'm going to try and make £50,000 on for a full year, then why don't you subscribe, give us some likes, feel free to ask any questions, leave whatever comments you want, ask me some questions, and let's see if I can achieve this goal of earning £50,000 in a single year.